I know where there's some, right here in the hall, clerk.
No, Molly, I have no.
We are back for the wrap-up of the capacitor project. This is the filter cap for the Motorola radio, the A16G or P. And these are the replacement caps finally came in. The can originally held 50 microfarad and a 30 microfarad, 150 volts each. I've got here a 33 microfarad at 160 and a 47 at 160. So that's what I'm going to replace the old one with. And I need to use the can, obviously. I need to use the same separator. The original coiled up cloth-like stuff was in there, and this went down with its rubber gasket. Wires came through those holes, which you might be able to see, yeah, right there. And then this topped it all off, this one with the pattern holes. And then these pins run right up through there like, oops, like that. Like that, he said. Thusly. So I've got a little bit of, or quite a bit actually, of surface to solder the new cap leads to here. I think what I'm going to do is run the ground lead right through the center hole. The negative leads rather, right through the center hole. I'll have to poke a center hole through the rubber gasket since it doesn't have one, but I can do that. And the piece that fits down in the bottom has a hole as well. That's interesting. I just noticed that the center hole, probably a vent hole, and this hole don't line up. So what I'll do is take my tool, my little Dremel tool, and bore a hole through this one that matches that one. And I'll go away and do that and be right back. And we have a freshly drilled hole. So the way this all will go together is I'll take these guys, twist the two negative leads together, then run one positive through each of the other two holes. So the negative lead will come through that hole, and then the two positives through here. I have to match that up with the shapes of the markers, the triangle and the square on this, so that it matches up with the indicators on the can itself. I just realized I want to polish. Well, I can polish the can afterward. So that's the next thing to do, is to put these two together. And then we'll first figure out which one is the 47. A triangle is 30. So that's the 30. And that's the 47. Alright, negative leads are wound together. This is the lead for the 47, which is replacing our 50, and this is the lead for the 33, which is replacing our 30. And they're going in this thusly. I tore that rubber up pretty good getting it out of there, but it doesn't matter in this case because its only purpose is to act as a spacer. In this instance, its only purpose is to act as a spacer between this piece and that piece, so as to fill up that can so I can bend the lip back over when it's all done. then this goes over the top of that. Well, not really. Then these two tabs get soldered on there. How am I going to do that? I think what I might do is, remember I said it looked like they were crimped on originally, and it still looks to me like they were crimped on, not soldered on. So this is the original tab, or the lead out of the one of the caps. This is the tab that sticks out through this piece that you solder to on the upper side, and it's the one with the little foot that holds everything in place. The little foot fits underneath, up under against these, like that, or not like that, rather, like that. So the little foot fits up at there. This sticks up, and that's what you solder to when it's installed. So what I think I'll do is see if I can get those sprung apart so that I can just lay the lead from the cap in that same space, crimp these down maybe, and solder them back in place. So let's try that. Sounds like another opportunity to hurt myself. Ridiculous. This is a bad hobby for people with shaky hands, but ouch. These things pinch. I think I'm going to have to do this under my magnifying spectacles. So if I achieve it, I'll be back. If I don't, I'll be back. My mistake, they are both crimped and soldered. I nipped a fair chunk of metal off there. So those things will stay in place. I will solder to that somehow. Probably take a wrap around the wire, or the wrap around this part of the post. Okay, where were we? Got this done. This goes, oops, I have to put these in first. And if I get off camera, I apologize. I'm not good at this yet. There's one post. There's the other post. There. Yeah, I just realized I'm going to have to drill another hole. Well, maybe not. Might be enough gaposis there. I can get the leads through right up beside that. I'll see. I shall see. Huh, perfect. Very good. All right. So here's the square shape. This should be the 47, and it is, meaning the other one is the 30, 33. Yeah, all right. So there's the lead. We'll run over to The next thing that happens is this fits down in the can. Then this is a steel ring. It's where you ground the ground lug, the negative lug lead of the two caps and the case together. So once this is in, this will touch the top of this part as it's folded over, and that should do it. Presuming, oh yeah, this is keyed. So this has a little tab right there that goes on the key right there. So I know it goes like that. I think what I'll do is just cut this this bit off right here. We don't need it anymore. And it's kind of in the way. See if it just comes off first. If this is aluminum, and I haven't taken a magnet to see if it is, I'm just curious how they bonded those two together, aluminum and steel. It almost looks like it was spot welded, which ain't impossible, I guess. But there, that's off now. So yeah, this fits right over there. The key goes in the slot. The whole thing gets pushed down in. But first I'm going to solder these, since they're up, I'm going to solder these to their respective pins. So I'll do that. Okay, come right back. Single wrap of wire around the outside. And that looks like not a good joint right there. Let me hit this one again. It's not quite right. It ain't right. I'll try not to knock the camera off its stand while I'm doing this. Okay, it's a little better. Let's get our El Cheapo ESR meter out and see if it thinks it's a capacitor. And if it does, we'll put it back in the can. Testing. It thinks this one is 46.59 microfarads with an ESR value of 0.81 ohms, which is pretty good. So let's see what it thinks the other one is. This is a 52.67 microfarad ohm with an ESR value of 0.8. So they both appear to be working. I haven't screwed anything up yet. So now it's nice that they just fit together in there like that. I get to push this rubber back in because I really torqued it when I pulled it out of there. But it's going. This goes down. I need a less sharp instrument. Okay, that's that. This goes on right here. We'll move this metal a little more out of the way, the aluminum. This goes on right there. I may have to, I was hoping this would be long enough to bend over and catch one of these or one of these. But it's not going to. So I'm going to have to solder a lead on there and run it around the post, the negative post. But I can do that after I get it all squoze back together. All right, we're making progress. And it's done. From the side, I didn't ding it up too badly. It doesn't look too bad. It's always the worst part is when you see these other people do these. Is not that I did a perfect job by any stretch, but this is all wrinkled, and this one looks okay. This is where the pointer. This is where the native lead comes out and attaches to the steel ring that goes all the way around. So the case is negative, and then this is where the two the 47 and the 33 microfarad caps are tied. And somebody will probably point out that I didn't anchor the body of the caps in there. Well, those capacitors have such little mass that it's like a mouse jumping off a 10-foot building. It won't make any difference. If it does get jarred, they aren't going anywhere. Did a little polish on the case. It still says Motorola, which I like. And I just checked it, and it's working just fine. They're working just fine. So I think the next step is to pull the old one out of the chassis and put this one in. We'll see if it makes any difference. I've removed this is the working chassis, and I just removed the old cap that was in there. We'll test it after a bit with the El Cheapo ESR meter. But it was humming enough that one of these has to be bad. Here's the replacement. It's amazing how much lighter it is. It's at least half as heavy as this one. That's fun. So let's get busy putting this back in. It's keyed. There's a wide tab on the can. So the wide tab goes in this wide slot right there. And the other 4 pins go where they obviously go. So I'll see if they all line up. Almost, but not quite. Okay, I finally have it in place. Not without some struggle. What happened was the widest tab, the key tab, still had too much solder in it, so it wasn't going in all the way. That's better, I think. Yeah, it's back in. All right, got it in there as best I can. Looks okay, and being the optimistic kind of guy I am, I'm gonna just slide it back into its case, wire it up, and then we'll put it on the Variac and see if it seems like it's gonna work. I expect it will.
The King's Men sing What Do I Want for Christmas?
Ding dong, Christmas bells. I must make a wish for Christmas while their music swells. Ding dong, all year through. If my wishes are auspicious, I'll be needing you. Oh, what do I want for Christmas? Do you really want me to tell? Well, I want you for Christmas Day and every other day as well. I never hang up my stocking beside the chimney flue. My cup is full to overflowing, long as I just have you. A toy balloon is something I'd never use, but joy in June is something I can't refuse. If you want to know what I want most, if you want to know what to do, just merely say, let's name the day, for I want you. Ding-a-dong, 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 ding. Everyone is writing, telling Santa what to bring. Why don't I just write and say, dear old Santa Claus, what do you want for Christmas?
What do I want for Christmas? Oh, ho, 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 ho. Who ever heard of such a thing? And yet, you know, I miss the things you all have here at other seasons of the year. Valentine's and Easter eggs and firecrackers on the 4th of July and Thanksgiving turkey and mincemeat pie. But all these things don't matter at all. If it makes you happy when I come to call, that's all I need the whole year through. That's the merriest Christmas to me from you.
Oh, what do we want for Christmas? Do you really want us to say? We hope old Santa has a very merry, merry Christmas day. Let's hang up all our stockings and fill them full of cheer, so Santa Claus will have a happy round trip this year. We know you're awfully busy visiting everyone alike, but though you may get dizzy visiting, never go on strike. If you want to know why we're singing and feeling the way we do, it's just because old Santa Claus, we all love you.
Turn it on. Bring up the voltage very slowly. Listen for crackling and smell for smoke. It usually takes, I think, okay, we're up to about, what, 75 volts now. It takes some time for that heater chain to warm up at voltage. Okay, there we are at 115. There it is. Okay, there's a little bit of hum still. With the volume all the way down, you can hear it. So that probably will require some further exploration of the schematic. See what else could induce that.
The guy who should be assistant managing a fast food chain. Oh. Yeah, something like that. You can't.
And then after the coverages change, decide to sell. But I submit to those representatives were made. If you're consultant, it is personal operating risks. So maybe you have one of those wrapped under the tree right now.
Okay, it's ready to be gifted in a couple of days. One other video, that's going to wrap it up for the electrical stuff for this. One other video is right here. It's supposed to be a label. that looks, right along here, a label that looks not unlike that. So the next video and the last video in this series will be to show you how I figured out how to do that. Turned out well, by the way. So, thanks for watching. See you next time.